Happy video day, guys. So today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a quick little review of what I think about the Beauty Blender. Oh my gosh, I can't say this word. I'm gonna let you guys know what I think about the Beauty Blender Bounce Foundation. Obviously you guys saw that I did a first impression on this. I did tell you guys that I was gonna give you like a little follow-up later on with a full review and let you guys know what I think about the foundation. So that is where we are. I was wearing this foundation for the past week, so I kind of have a really good idea of what I think about it. I am wearing it right now. So in this video, I'm gonna be doing a demonstration. I'm also gonna be giving you guys my review, and there will be a wear test as well. So let's go ahead and get into the video because there is a lot of information and I want to make sure that this video is not extremely long. So first we're going to start off with the review, just because I knew some of you guys just want to see the review and see what I think about the foundation. So I'm going to give you guys a few little thoughts on the foundation. There is this little open and close thing. I love this because look, nothing comes out. This is not going to squirt all over the place. I love this. The design of this packaging is phenomenal. This is probably one of the best designed bottles of foundation I have ever seen in my life. I love this little divot. It was used today, so it is a little bit dirty. So being able to bounce your beauty blender on this portion here and being able to distribute the foundation evenly is a really nice feature. I do enjoy it. I have been using it. I do think it leaves it a little bit dirty, and most people sometimes will not be wiping this down, so it can be a little bit of a pain in the butt, and it can get things dirty. If you leave it dirty and you throw it in your makeup drawer, you're gonna just dirty the rest of your products. So for that reason, it is a little bit of a pain, but if you do clean it down, it is useful. I personally do not use it all the time. I only use it when I really want to distribute my makeup properly and I don't feel like putting it on my hands, so I guess that's really the reason that it was created. It does claim to be a full coverage foundation. I am going to tell you guys, I do believe that it is a full coverage foundation. You do need to build it up. It is not one of those foundations that right when you put it on is like, whoa, full coverage. I personally don't mind that. For me personally, I have to put on like 4.5 pumps in order to get to real full coverage. It all depends on your skin tone, what kind of issues you have with your skin in order for it to be completely full coverage for you. For me personally, 4.5 pumps I feel like does the job in order to be full coverage. I personally like to wear it with 2.5 pumps. I feel like that's a nice medium, almost full coverage. It gives you like a nice little medium coverage, which covers everything pretty good, but not to the point that it's really, really full. But I do think when you put it on full coverage, it doesn't really look too cakey. Like it's not gonna look like if it's completely like, look, I'm not wearing makeup. Obviously it's full coverage. When I use it on medium, I really do feel like it does feel skin-like. Like right now I do have it full coverage and I don't feel like I have like a heavy foundation on. Like it doesn't feel unbreathable. Sometimes when I use like the Milani 2-in-1 Conceal, like that foundation, when I put it on full coverage, I feel like I'm wearing like really heavy makeup. This does not feel that way. I actually really love the lightweight feel about it. You are getting 1 fluid ounce of this product. That is pretty standard. I will tell you guys that right here, a little bit of foundation always gets stuck in this little hole. It would be kind of equivalent to like when you guys have a pump and it gets stuck in the inside of the pump and it just stays there. It's kind of like the same thing with the design. Maybe they can kind of fix that for the next time, put a little seal over that. But for the most part, I do really like this. So let's talk a little bit about the color range, because I know the color range is a huge issue in this foundation. I feel like there's a lot of foundations out there that have a really bad shade range. And I feel like the bigger foundations like the Beauty Blender one and the ones that people are really dying to try, there is a huge attention on the shade range. And I do see that a lot of people are upset because they say that this shade range does have a lot of medium skin tones. One of the things that the Beauty Blender foundation owner said is that she was trying to reach the Latina market, which typically not always goes within the medium shade range. I am a Latina, so for me, sometimes I have a little bit of a hard time with regular foundations in the shade range category because the undertone usually doesn't match me. The only difference that I have personally, and I think a lot of people have when they're in the light medium, is you can always find a shade. That's where the problem happens, is that we can always find a shade. The undertone might be a little bit off. We can make it work for us, but we find a shade. There's some people in here that just cannot wear this foundation. They can't even find a shade that matches them. So it's not even like they can say, oh, the undertone is not perfect, but I can still wear it. It's like, I don't even have a shade, period. Now, I did hear that Beauty Blender is going to be expanding the shade range, so they are going to be adding more and more colors to this shade range. So I'm happy that they are acknowledging what people are saying and they are going to be adding more shades. That being said, I am wearing 2.30. I do have sometimes an issue with finding an undertone that matches me. I have a yellow undertone, and sometimes some brands, the yellow undertone is like yellow. And then sometimes it has like, they don't have a good yellow undertone. It's more golden, but it's like weird. This one has a really good yellow undertone for my skin. I feel like it blended into my skin perfectly. To be shade and undertone match on this foundation was like spot on for me. Like it was this is probably the best shade match that I've ever been able to find in a foundation for me. I wish that they would do the same for all the different types of shade ranges, because if they can really expand this foundation to really get the right undertones and shade matches for all the different people that we have in this world, this could be like the best foundation ever, because it really wears beautifully. I love the way it feels on my skin. I don't really have too many negative things to say about the foundation. I will tell you, originally I was very dry and I tried putting it on. I felt like it was kind of catching in my dry spots, but I do feel that if you use a good primer that's very moisturizing, you don't have that issue. I've been using the Hourglass Mineral Veil lately with this foundation, and I feel like it's been working awesome. And now that my dryness is starting to go down, I honestly don't need to use that one anymore, and it still works really good. So dry skin, I feel like you need to use a moisturizing primer in order to make this work. Normal to oily skin, I feel like any primer really does make it look good. I don't think that I get too oily throughout the day. I will say 6 hours is the max that I think this foundation looks impeccable. By the 7-hour mark, I feel like it starts to go downhill. You guys will see that in my wear test. These are typical things with foundations. I do think that 6 hours looking really good is actually pretty good for a foundation on my skin, because my skin tends to like eat up foundations. I don't know what it is. Maybe I touch my face a lot. So I do think the wear time on this is really good. I really love the finish. I think it looks beautiful. This velveteen matte is beautiful. It does have like that kind of like, you can see it kind of like glisten. It's a beautiful foundation. I really hope that they continue to expand it and that everybody can try this foundation, because I really do think it's very good. The foundation retails for $40. It is a more expensive foundation, but you guys are getting a lot from this foundation. You're getting a really innovative packaging, plus it's a glass bottle. We can compare this to some other brands that are coming out with foundations a little bit more expensive or at this price range, and you're getting plastic bottles that squeeze. And this is a high-end, very innovative design for 40 bucks. I think it's a really good deal. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw on this foundation for you guys so you guys can see me demo it and put it on, and then after that we'll jump into the wear test and you guys can see how it wore throughout the day, so you guys can actually see it for yourself. So let's go ahead and get into that. So I'm going to show you guys how I apply the Beauty Blender foundation. So what I'm first going to do is prime my face. Hourglass Mineral Veil. I don't know what it is about this actual primer, but I feel like if you have a little bit of dry skin, you need to go in with a very moisturizing primer for this foundation. And I typically don't have dry skin, but lately I've had a little bit of dryness around my nose area, and I feel like this primer is the best primer that I've used so far with this foundation. It is a matte velveteen foundation, so it's not 100% matte, but I do feel like you need something, you just need something moisturizing. Now, if you're oily, that's not the case. Obviously, if you have oily skin, maybe just a pore minimizing primer or whatever primer you like. But if you have a little bit of dry skin, go ahead and put on a moisturizing primer, and I really do think that that makes all the difference in the world with this foundation. So let's jump into the foundation. It has this little divot that you guys can go ahead and do this. You press the product into that divot, and you can use this to just go like this and kind of spread out your foundation. And some of you guys might say, well, why would you want to do that? When you're putting on foundation, sometimes in order to get it like evenly on your Beauty Blender, some people do like to kind of do this motion in order to evenly get it on the Beauty Blender. You see how it kind of sucked up in a perfect area instead of it just being consolidated just in one space. Most makeup artists tend to like to do that, so that when you're applying the foundation, you see how it's applying more evenly to the skin, and that is the purpose of that. And it's also good for travel friendly, so like if you're traveling and you don't want to put it on your hand and then just start going like this, you can just go ahead and use this dish. So I can understand the convenience of it. For me personally, I feel like I'm going to use it sometimes. I don't think that it's going to be something that I'm going to use all the time. But I will tell you, originally I thought, well, I'm not going to use that hardly ever. But I've actually used it more than I actually anticipated. I guess since it's there, you kind of say, well, let me use it because it's there. You guys can see I am using the color 2.30. It has more of a yellow undertone. I have a yellow undertone to my skin. You might, sometimes on camera, you can't tell. But if you do look at the rest of my body, it is more of like a yellow undertone, and I typically like to go a little bit darker on my foundation on my face because my body is a little bit tanner, And also, I feel like it looks more natural after you put on your concealer and everything if your foundation is a little bit darker. So I did around 2 pumps, maybe 3 most on my face. And so this is with 2 to maybe a little bit of 3 pumps, 2.5 pumps probably on the face. You guys can see, you can still see a little bit of imperfections coming through. So it is a full coverage foundation, but you have to use a little bit more than I anticipate. So when I originally put this on, I thought it was full coverage right off the get-go, but I guess I didn't have as many imperfections coming through, but you can see that there is some imperfections coming through with just 2.5 pumps. Okay, so then for those of you who love full coverage, let's get this a little bit more full. You just pump, let's put 2 more pumps on here. It might be a little bit of a lot, but I'm just gonna go ahead and focus this on certain areas. I try not to do it on my forehead too much, just because I tend to always do like facial expressions, and the more product you put on those type of areas, the more you'll see the lines. So I kind of try to not focus it on my forehead, but I do put it everywhere else. So then whatever is left over, then I can just put that over my forehead. I always tend to bring it down my neck just a little bit, because your foundation is never going to be perfect to your neck, so you want to bring it down just a little bit, just so it kind of meshes together. And this is with 4.5 kind of pumps. I will tell you guys, yes, you might have to use a little bit more with this foundation to get it up to like full coverage. This would be extreme full coverage for me personally. I actually think that's a good quality of a foundation, because you want to build up foundation. If you automatically put on a foundation and it's automatically huge full coverage, you kind of can't play with how you want it to. I like the fact that I could build this one up. I can wear it a little bit more of a medium coverage, and then I can build it up to full coverage. So there is some areas that I can already kind of see it looking a little bit more cakey than usual, but that's because I just made it like really full coverage. Let me zoom you guys in so you guys can see it full coverage. This is full coverage. I don't know if you guys can see right around this area of my nose. This area of my nose, you can see a little bit of, you know, more of a cakey look. Of course, with every foundation, the test will be, how does the rest of the makeup sit on your face? Because nobody goes out in public looking like this. This is what we're looking like. All the foundation is on. I wanted to show you guys in better lighting. This is daylight. This is what it looks like. I actually really like the way that this looks, especially when it's completely put on. I don't have that much makeup on today. I didn't put like an exaggerated amount of foundation. I put like a typical, like what you would typically put on a foundation, and very natural makeup, just so I can like really look at that foundation. But I really like the way it looks. So I'll let you guys know in a couple of hours. It's like 1 o'clock right now, so I have people coming over, so I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff. So I'll let you guys know later on tonight how it worked. But I like the way it feels. The dryness that I had seen around my nose the first time I tried this on is kind of gone. I'm wondering if that's because my dryness is going down. Did you hear that thunder? So I think the dryness is going down around my nose. So right now it's starting to look a little bit better. So I am optimistic that this is going to work for me. So I'll let you guys know how it looks throughout the day. But right now I actually really like the way it looks. So let's see. Check out my garden, guys. I have green peppers coming out. Look at my green pepper. It's the coolest thing ever. I'm obsessed. Hey there. Okay, so I totally almost forgot to do this last check-in. I was about to take a bath to close out my day. It's like 11:30 at night right now, and I said, oh, I didn't do my follow-up because I was just really busy today. Today was the weekend. I had family members over and all that good stuff. So it was hard for me to do follow-ups, but I was constantly looking in the mirror to kind of see how the foundation looked. And I will tell you, I am pleasantly surprised. Day 1 full wear test was really successful. It has been like around 10, 11 hours that I've had the foundation on right now. So obviously right now it's not going to look its best because it's been a really long time. I am a little bit oily around this area, you know, my typical area. It's not extremely oily. It's just you know, oily, but it's been a long time. So at the times that are the most crucial, that you need your foundation to look the best, between the, you know, like 4 hour, 5, 7 hour mark, I really think that it held up really good. I kept looking at it and kept saying, gosh, you know, like it looks a lot more natural than I thought it was, because it's kind of full coverage, but if you apply it like the way I applied it, I feel like it looks skin-like, and it just covered all my imperfections. So I didn't feel like it was clinging to dry patches like I did originally. When I did my first impression, originally I saw it clinging more to dry patches than I felt like it clinged to, and I'm actually really happy with it right now. Obviously this is day 1 of my wear testing. I'm going to go on to a day 2, so we are going to keep on trying this foundation. This is not where it's going to end. See you in day 2. I'm going to go to sleep because I am so tired. I gotta go take a bath and go to bed. I'll see you in day 2. Hey guys, so today is day 3. I didn't film day 2, but that is totally okay because I know everything that I thought of it, and actually yesterday was a really busy day, so it was gonna be hard for me to film anyways, but I have all my thoughts already written down. So I'm gonna be wearing this foundation to the office today, so I'm gonna have a long day today too, so I'm gonna check in again when I get back home. What time is it right now? Let's see. Right now it's 10:02 a.m. and I am going to be heading out, so we're going to be going the whole day, and then I'll show you guys kind of like how this looks, give you guys a few updates and all that good stuff. So I will see you guys a little bit later, and this is what I'm wearing on my face if you guys are interested. This is where I take those photos that you guys see on Instagram, but here are all the products that I put on my face today. So for some reason I decided to wear boots, and it's like 100 degrees outside. 7:16 right now, and that is, how long have I had this on? When did I put it on? Like 10? So let's see, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. So I've had it on 9 hours. Okay, so this is how I feel. Overall, I like the way it looks. I will tell you that there is some areas that there's a little bit of breakup. There's breakup happening right here in my nose, that my nose got a little oily. I do have a little bit of missing foundation around my mouth. Typical things. The only thing I noticed is like right around here or here, I have like a little dry spot, and I could see like the foundation's kind of like gathering there, and it's kind of noticeable. Do you guys like my lips? I'm wearing the Dose of Colors I Love Sarah E. I just literally got it in the mail and I put it on. But I do think it's a very pretty foundation. I think it lasts really nice on the face. So do I like it? Yes, I think for the most part it's a pretty good foundation. When you do put it on, it looks really pretty. So I have to say that it looks beautiful, like full coverage wise. I don't think it's like a really long lasting foundation. Like 8 hours, it's already starting to like break up and stuff. But then again, it's been 8 hours and I've been out and it's really hot. So I think it did pretty well for the conditions it was under. So I do think it's a good foundation overall. I do think it wears really nice. Yeah, that is all I have for you guys. So guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed this review. If there's any other questions that you guys have for me and you guys want me to answer, just leave them below and I will make sure to answer them for you. But for me personally, I really do like this foundation. I think it's a very good foundation. It's probably one of my favorites as of right now. I do think it looks absolutely stunning on the skin. So I don't really have too many negatives about it. I do think if you have dry skin, you've got to use a moisturizing primer, and that will make it look really good. A lot of people have purchased this foundation. It's basically sold out on Sephora, but I'm sure that they're going to be restocking, and like I said before, Beauty Blender has already said that they will be expanding the shade range. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave your comments below and give me your thumbs up if you liked the video, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!